Still standing in the sunshine. If you'd like to grab a seat under the tent, we'll get started here in just a few seconds. Give you a chance to have a seat. First thing I want to do is I want to quote a famous West Virginian, Tony Caridi. It's a great day to be a West Virginian no matter where you are today, because around the world we're broadcasting on Governor Jim Justice's website. So welcome to you viewers, and welcome to you folks here to Kerens, West Virginia. It's a great day because we're about to do some groundbreaking on Corridor H. I'm Randy Dameron with the Department of Transportation, and I got to tell you how excited I am. You know, you get excited about roads. Yes, I do. Especially this one. It's been years in the making, and you know there's light now at the end of the tunnel. For those of you who live in the area, you know you live in a very special place. This is a beautiful part of West Virginia. I'm an avid motorcyclist. I'll tell you share a quick story. This past weekend I brought a couple on a bike and my wife. We came here too. I wanted to show them where we're going to do this event. But we rode over, and it was the first time the three of them had been on Corridor H beyond Elkins. Well, I can tell you, when we got to the top of Backbone and you practically drive into that windmill and got back on the road there at Davis, it dominated our lunchtime conversation how beautiful Corridor H is, and what a beautiful highway and what a safe highway. I have a feeling they'll be back, but I'm glad to be here today. As we get started, you're going to hear from several of our dignitaries here on the stage, and then we're going to, after Governor Justice concludes his remarks, we're going to step off the stage and have the official photograph of groundbreaking here in Corridor H, this Kerens to Parsons project, which will bring us 7.5 miles closer to Parsons. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the last time I was here, last year, the weather was definitely much different when we opened up the section up on top of the mountain. So what a beautiful day here in Kerens, West Virginia. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask that we get started with an invocation, if you would. This is Jamie Eastep. Jamie is the senior pastor at the Elkins Family Worship Center. Jamie?
I just want to say a moment before we pray and share in a scripture. Thank you for allowing me to come and be a part of this. The Bible says in Romans 13:1, it says, "Let every soul be subject to a governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and the authorities that exist are appointed by God." Verse 7 in that same chapter says, "Render therefore to all their due, taxes to whom taxes due, authorities, customs to whom customs, fear to whom fear, and honor to whom honor." As each of you know, we're living in a day where, to my right, our flag, and to many that are represented on this stage, are to whom they represent could be being disrespected or not being honored today. Just in a few moments, Governor Justice will be joining us. My saying to you as a crowd today, and as myself, what an honor it is to be able to come and to pray not only for our governor, for the folks that these people behind me represent, for our nation, and more than that, for our state. And so I just want today to honor these that are represented here today, to honor Governor Justice, and to honor our flag, and to honor the opportunity to come and pray to God on behalf of those. Would you join with me this evening as we pray? Father, we love you today. God, it truly is a beautiful day that you have given us, God. And Lord, I just pray right now that as we place honor, God, upon the positions of our governor and upon the positions of all that are represented here today, Father, I just speak blessing upon them. God, I pray that you give them wisdom to follow after you first and foremost, God. And Lord, I believe that as they put you first, God, the decisions that need to be made, God, will fall in place. Father, I pray that not only for our state, for our governor, God, I pray for our president, I pray for our country, and for all that are represented there, God. Lord, let honor be reestablished in America today, God. And Father, I just speak blessing upon the workers that will be putting these miles together, God, doing the work, God. And Father, I pray that the finances would come. And God, I just continue to pray blessing upon this day and all that are involved, Father. And we just speak in your holy name. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you today.
Thank you, Jamie. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing of our national anthem. And to sing the national anthem, we're honored to have with us today a young lady. Her name is Gracie Matheny. She's the daughter of a West Virginia Division of Highways traffic engineer in District 5. Gracie Matheny.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Wow. We may be buying her records someday. Thank you, Gracie. I'd like to recognize some folks in the audience. First off, this is dangerous because I haven't been out in the audience a lot to know actually who's here from our West Virginia legislature and so forth. But any leaders, city or county officials with us today? I'd like you to stand if you would. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us? I'm sure your constituents probably know, but very good. And thank you. Thank you much. All right, how about members of our West Virginia legislature? I know Senator Boso is here. Anyone else? Senator, where are you located? Oh, here in the front row. Very good. Anyone else? Very good. Also, I'm not sure, is Mr. Clyde Thompson here by chance? I wanted to recognize him if he is. Well, I'll go ahead and tell you, Clyde, anxious to meet him. He's kind of our landlord in a way. He's the he's the supervisor with the Monongahela National Forest, which this road's going to go through, but I was told he would be here today. Do we have any friends of Corridor H with us today? Maybe Phyllis Cole, Gerald Seitz, maybe. Any folks, thank you for being here. I want you to meet the road builders. I know some folks are here from Kekosing Construction Company. I think the guys in the back there, it's Andy Rhodes and Ken Lake and Joe Baker, Kekosing, our general contractor. A couple of gentlemen here from E.L. Robinson Engineering Company, and I think Ed Robinson's here along with Paul Maddox. And folks from Michael Baker International, our quality assurance partners with the DOH. Would you all please stand? Thank you for being here. Our road builders, ladies and gentlemen, for Corridor H. I also want to recognize, this is important, to recognize members of the West Virginia Division of Highways. Most of them are in yellow, but I know District 8, Jamie Rossi's group is here. Jamie, of course, our district engineer here in the Elkins area. Darby Clayton and his staff from DOH Construction. Where are you guys? Let us know where you are, because there you are. We appreciate you guys being here. I'll mention too, ladies and gentlemen, when you arrived, you saw some DOH folks. Keep in mind, those guys and gals are the same people that plow your roads in the wintertime. You might want to say hi to them on the way out this afternoon. So again, welcome everybody. We're so glad you're here. It is a special day for not only this part of the state, but for West Virginia as a whole. And Governor Justice and our Secretary Tom Smith have details on the importance of why we're here today, and they're going to share that here in just a few minutes. Well, we'll get started with comments now from our national elected leaders, starting with U.S. Congress, and representing the Honorable Alex Mooney is District Director Mr. Fred Joseph. Fred?
What a beautiful day in every way. A lot of folks said I could go to the end of the highway and that's where the event would be, and I said, well, maybe that's the beginning of the highway. So with Tom Smith, who's always been working for this issue, the governor and everyone else, thank you, because I know this means a great deal to West Virginia. The congressman is sorry that he could not be here. For sure, it would be one of the events that he'd be most happy to be. So I want to tell you, he sent us a message, and I'll give it to you now. It says, I am sorry I'm unable to be there in person, but Congress is back in session in Washington, and we're hard at work continuing our efforts to reform the tax code and roll back job-killing Obama-era regulations. This groundbreaking represents fantastic opportunities for Corridor H in the entire central part of West Virginia. I am committed to completing Corridor H all the way to Virginia, border to border, ensuring that the federal government does what it can to help. The growth in jobs and industry once this road is completed will be a game changer for all of West Virginia. As a member of your Congress, I support a 5-year highway funding bill that gives certainty to the state and local governments. I support the bill because I understand that roads are vital to the overall success of the state. Again, congratulations, and I look forward to visit with you soon. Sincerely, Congressman Alex Mooney.
Thank you, Fred. And now, next up is from the office of United States Senator, the Honorable Shelley Moore Capito. Here is Regional Coordinator, Mr. Todd Gunner. Todd.
Thank you, Randy. It's an honor to be here today on behalf of Senator Capito. Governor Justice, welcome.
Oh, no. Y'all noticed that I just got here, huh?
You snuck in on us there. Governor Justice, Secretary Smith, Administrator Stephen, it's an honor to be here today. Congratulations on breaking ground on this portion of Corridor H. Although I'm unable to be with you in person today, I share your excitement as we take another step closer to completing this important project. As a member of the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee with jurisdiction over the Federal Highway Program, I fought hard to pass a robust, long-term highway bill. The FAST Act authorizes $305 billion of federal funds for highway infrastructure through 2020. It also provides certainty to state and local leaders that the federal government is serious about improving and expanding our nation's transportation infrastructure. I would like to thank Governor Justice, West Virginia Department of Transportation Secretary Tom Smith, Federal Highways Division Administrator Stephen, Corridor H Authority members for their commitment providing quality infrastructure to the people of West Virginia. Additionally, I would like to thank local county commissioners and legislators for their work representing the people of Randolph and Tucker counties and fighting for their priorities. Congratulations again to you all on today's groundbreaking of this section of Corridor H. Working together with state and federal partners, I will continue to fight to see that this, as well as many other highway projects, are completed. It is an honor to serve the great state of West Virginia, United States Senate. Sincerely, Shelley Moore Capito. Thank you all so much.
Thanks, Todd. And next up, from the office of the Honorable United States Senator Joe Manchin III, here is Regional Coordinator Ms. Peggy Hawes. Peggy?
Governor and many distinguished guests and just enthusiastic West Virginians, I am so happy to be here today. I know the senator wanted very much to be here, but he knew that since I cover for him from the Virginia line all the way to Elkins and a little beyond, that I would be very happy to attend in his place. I live in Moorfield, and I have grandchildren in Winchester. So all the trips I make across the mountain into Virginia, especially on Friday afternoon and Sunday afternoon, I see all the traffic coming from Virginia or going back home on Sunday afternoon. I can count 35 cars together, and then there's a break because that's a stoplight. And then there's 35 more cars. And in the east side of Hardy County alone, we have over 400 weekend homes of folks who live in Washington and the Northern Virginia area. They can't wait to get to West Virginia, and they love Quarter H. If I were texting right now, I would probably go whoop, whoop, boom, because I'm so excited. And I hope you are as well. I do have greetings from Joe Manchin III, United States Senator. It is my privilege to welcome those attending the groundbreaking of the newest section of Quarter H between Kerens and Parsons. As governor and now as your United States Senator, infrastructure remains a top priority for me. We must invest in our nation's foundation. It is time to start rebuilding America, and that begins with strengthening and adding to the infrastructure in our own communities within West Virginia. I have been a staunch supporter of this valuable project for years, and I have been so proud to see it come to fruition. Most recently, as a member of the Senate Appropriations Committee, I was proud to support the Transportation, Housing, and Urban Development Appropriations Act that provides a lot of money for West Virginia road and infrastructure projects. Not only is this project a great benefit to our state's economy, but it is also certainly one of the most beautiful highways in the nation and will benefit our tourism industry well. I proudly invite residents and visitors to this beautiful region of our home state to explore all that West Virginia has to offer. I sincerely appreciate the efforts of all who have had a hand in making today's celebration a reality. Again, I thank each of you for your continued support of this great, great project in our home state of West Virginia. With warmest regards, Joe Manchin III, United States Senator.
Thank you, Peggy. Last year, our next speaker, well, first off, he's a partner with the West Virginia Department of Transportation. He's the the man with the federal money, the federal checkbook, but it takes money to build highways, and he is the West Virginia administrator with Federal Highway Administration. He is originally from Louisiana, so I'd like you to give him a warm West Virginia hearty welcome to Mr. Edward Stephen.
Good afternoon. It is great to be here again. I was here about a year ago, and when we did the ribbon cutting on the other section, and it was cold as heck last year. But it's glad to be back here this afternoon. It's a beautiful day. The pastor mentioned earlier that just a beautiful day and how great the Lord is, and I'm a big believer in that, and we have a lot to be thankful for. And I remind you, the pastor was talking, saying, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice in it. I think this is a great day to rejoice because the project is finally coming to fruition. It's been a long time coming. I've only been in the division office in West Virginia for a little less than 2 years now, and just listened to and doing the research on the project. This is an awesome project. This is a project that we in the transportation industry, we at the federal government are excited about. Projects like this are a new location. Projects like this, they're going to bring economic development to the region. Projects like this that have great partnership with the state of West Virginia, with the governor, with DOT Secretary Tom Smith. We are great and excited about having this type of project. We're looking forward to working with the governor and Secretary Smith and all of the transportation industry in the coming years as we go through this major infrastructure overhaul here in West Virginia. We are excited about it. We have really enjoyed my time here in West Virginia. I do want to take this opportunity to introduce my assistant, Stephanie Hickman. She's from North Dakota. She'll be with us for at least 2 more weeks, and depends on the situation, maybe longer than that. But we do appreciate her here. And I just want to deny something right here, right now. If you get a videotape that's seeing the West Virginia Assistant Division Administrator going around in circles, It's because we got lost. and we stopped at DOH District 8 office. And thank you, I'm not sure what Jamie is, but thank you, District Engineer, because you have great people. You have great people in your office, and we appreciate that. But I think they kind of told us, let's go around in circles, close your eye, go around in circles, and then when you open your eyes, follow the yellow brick road. And we end up here. So thank you all so much, District 8, for pointing us in the right direction. The other thing I have to say, we are giving nearly $1 billion to this project, $900 million on this project. And as was stated from Senator Capito's office, the federal government support these type of projects, and we're going to do everything we can do to continue to support these, give you funding. The only request I have is that on the next presentation and next agenda, give me some remarks rather than a remark. I'm only allowed to say one remark. If you look at the agenda, everybody else say remarks. I only get one. So it'd be nice if we can get more remarks. But with that in mind, great to be in with you all this afternoon. Looking forward to working again with Secretary Smith, the governor's office, and all the transportation industry to continue to make West Virginia one of the greatest infrastructure state in the country. Thank you very much.
Edward, you can have all the remarks you want. We're so glad you're here. And thank you for being here. Well, you know, to take advantage of this young vocalist we have, it's a great day here in West Virginia. The sun is shining, and we are on a country road right now. We're here in the gravel before they pound through the mountain. But I think it would be nice to bring Gracie back up, and I think she's got a song she'd like to perform. By the way, as I mentioned, her father, Jeremy, is seated right here in the front. He works in the DOH District 5 Traffic Engineering, correct? In next district over. But you have a very talented young daughter, and she's 8th grader, right, Gracie, at Elkins Middle School, 13 years old. But she recently was performed in Tennessee, and she won a music contest, which awarded her a music video and a recording in Nashville. And she's here with us today. Gracie, what would you like to do for us?
There's this one song that I think everybody knows, and if you do, sing along, and it's called Country Roads. Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, and younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads. All my memories, they gather around her, a miner's lady, stranger to blue water, dark and dusty, painted on the sky, misty taste of moonshine, teardrop in my eye. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads. I hear her voice in the morning, and where she calls me, the radio reminds me of my home far away. And driving down the road, I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads, take me home, country
It's a great day to be a West Virginian. I told you so, right? I saw some lips moving out there. What a talent. I know we'll be buying her records someday, and probably not too long from now. Thank you, Gracie. Well, our next speaker has a long history in building roads over his career. In fact, if you ask him, you'll discover his love of this particular highway because he has a long history with Corridor H, both with federal highways, the Appalachian Regional Commission, and now as Commissioner of the West Virginia Division of Highways and the Secretary of the West Virginia Department of Transportation. Governor Justice refers to him as the highways rock star. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Tom Smith.
Thank you, Randy. And Gracie, thank you so much. Randy, we need to make sure this is a normal part of every program from now on. Yeah. Governor Justice, other honored guests, it's really a wonderful day to be here doing one of the things I really think is the most fun in West Virginia, which is celebrating with a group of folks like you, celebrating more progress on Corridor H as we move toward its completion. So thank you. I like to say that it takes partnership and persistence to get a road like this built. And Randy has already introduced our West Virginia DOH team. I'm proud to be a member of that team, proud to have those folks with us today. But that team recognizes the partnership we have with our consulting community, and Randy also mentioned E.O. Robinson. I see Secretary Maddox out there in the crowd too, and Michael Baker. Those are two of the consulting firms that are helping us here on the project. Also from the contracting community, Kekosing Construction and American Bridge. This is how we get stuff done in West Virginia and in the United States, is working with our private side partners. And then, of course, we have our partner at the federal level, Edward Stevens, representing the Federal Highway Administration here. So a project like this just really embodies partnership, but it also embodies persistence. And what we are doing is getting Corridor H built a section at a time. We break it into sections about 10 or 15 miles long, get one of those sections opened to traffic, and then move to the next one. And so what we're doing here is making significant progress. And I want to mention the governor's program in a minute here that talks about how that program really leapfrogs us forward on this section to finish up between Kerens and Parsons. But one thing I want to do is take a little bit of a trip back in time because we had such a West Virginia influence on this in the entire Appalachian region. So I want to take you back in time very briefly to 1963 with President Kennedy before he was assassinated, and then with President Johnson who completed the work after that. They sent a group of folks out with the Appalachian Regional Commission all over Appalachia looking at what the needs were of Appalachia. And this is what they said about roads, and this is coming right out of the report from 1964. To provide access between these isolated areas and the corridors of the interstate system, the Commission's highway team, in cooperation with the highway departments of the Appalachian states, has evolved a design for the type of a developmental highway system which is needed. This system is based upon criteria different from those normally employed. Instead of upgrading or expanding the most heavily traveled routes, a developmental system seeks to stimulate the flow of people and goods to and through remote areas which have a developmental potential. It seeks, in short, to create traffic and to open up areas where commerce and communication of people with people have been sorely inhibited by a lack of ready access. And then our own Senator Byrd was such an architect to take that charge from Presidents Kennedy and Johnson and to actually become the architect of the Appalachian Developmental Highway System. And he, before he passed away, mentioned that he thought that the Appalachian Developmental Highway System was his biggest contribution to the area. So it's great for us to be here today and to actually look at what we're doing as we move forward. We have some tailwinds behind us, which are really very beneficial now. Just this summer, the Appalachian Regional Commission released an economic impact study that shows that every $1 invested in Corridor H brings back 3. So a 3-to-1 return. Also, a bipartisan policy group, Senator Manchin is represented on that group, recently in September, even this month, released another report that had as a strong recommendation, finish the Appalachian Development Highway System. So we have those couple of things working as a tailwind. And then finally, President Trump has talked about a real need to invest in infrastructure, and that will be coming. The governor will mention that, I think, in his remarks. We have all these things moving in our direction and helping us. And we are doing our part here. The governor's plan actually has a project in it. This project today gets us halfway between Kerens and Parsons, and then the governor's program gets us all the way over to Parsons. So really quite a strategic plan to get us there, and it's great to be a part of that. So with that now, I have the pleasure of introducing my boss. Governor Justice is the man who came up with this vision for the road bond program. And what I will say to you is it's big. It's $2.6 billion, but that will result in additional growth and additional investment beyond the 2.6. It's bold. It creates 48,000 immediate jobs. Those are jobs that immediately materialize when you have construction projects out there. And most important, it provides immediate economic recovery and hope for our citizens. And so it's my pleasure to introduce the 36th governor of the state of West Virginia, Governor Jim Justice.
Okay. You're very kind. Please be seated. I'm going to sit right here, and I'm going to just talk to you because, you know, these wonderful dignitaries that we have here have done a great job in their presentations, but I'm just going to talk with you. Now, one thing I want to say before I go any further is just this. Think about Gracie. Gracie, come here, please, please. Now, I'm going to sit right here beside her, okay? 13 years old. Unbelievable. Gracie, now I want to tell you something. And look really good at me. When I was 13, I was skinny. And then I grew another body. Now, you stay just beautiful like you are. What a talent. Please give her another round of applause. Unbelievable. Way to go. I'm really proud of you. Really, really proud of you. All right, now you got to go sit down. I'm going to sit right here, okay? And if I fall off of this, don't anybody try to catch me. Run for your life. Let me tell you just this. I'm 66 years old. And forevermore in my life, West Virginia, we've constantly gotten the short end of the stick from the standpoint of just where we ended up, where we are. Now, you can say what we want, say what you want, but just think about the benefit and the value of quarter H. It's unbelievable, isn't it? You know it. I know it. But yet, how long's it been? In all honesty, all of us will grow old and probably pass on if we don't do something and do it right now. Now, there's a lot of good things going on today in West Virginia, and there's hope. And you'd be denying it if you didn't feel it, and you didn't see it in your community right now, right today. There's people that are walking the streets that are back to work, and they've got a smile on their face. And there's somebody that maybe was leaning toward desperation and drugs, and now they've got a job, and they've got hope, and they're on their way. This week alone, we announced a big job deal with Toyota, $115 million, and last night, and I've got to tell you this, I got the scare of my life last night. I was in Ripley going towards Parkersburg. Hino Motors was about to announce that they're going to do a gigantic expansion in a 1 million square foot building that's vacant. A 1 million square foot building. And I'm on the way, and the president of Hino Motors is there, and it's just going to be a big deal that the governor has to be at. Well, a call came from my wife from Lewisburg that my daughter, who's 7 months pregnant and going to have our first grandchild, was in Charleston seeing her OBGYN, and she went after the appointment, which all went great. Baby's in great shape. She's in great shape. Everything's good. She leaves there and goes to Outback to eat, slips on the floor and falls. Now, it scared us to death. She was at the hospital, and I turned around and took off back, and praise the Lord, in every way, shape, form, or fashion, everything's okay. Everything's good. But thank you. And see, that's who we are. I mean, just by your clapping and everything, that's who you are. You're West Virginians, and you care, and you're good, loving people that know how to appreciate others. Now, in all honesty, as your governor, whether you like me or whether you don't like me, I promise you to my soul, I'm not doing this in any way, shape, form, or fashion for me. You see, I don't want a thing. I never have. I want goodness for our state, and I want goodness now. I'm an impatient guy. And I see a bunch of kids out here and everything, and who are you guys with? I mean, I see the things on your shirt, but who are you guys with? Elkins Christian Academy. Good stuff. Do y'all know Gracie? She's pretty good, isn't she? Yeah. Well, first of all, I love kids. Everybody knows the easy stuff. They're our future. But in all honesty, we have a real obligation, a duty to them. But we still have some future left in us, too. And the real nitty-gritty is just one thing, and that's this. You know, I give the good Lord credit for all the good ideas that I have in my life. In fact, I give him credit for everything. But I absolutely give him super credit for all the good ideas, and then I'll take credit for the bad ones. And I have some bad ones from time to time. But listen to me. I won't ever not tell you the truth. And this idea about the roads and what we are about to do is unbelievable. Now, I got to know something. How many of you have voted already? How many of you are going to vote? Now, just think about it. There's a good chance that maybe, just maybe, some of you may have something at the last minute come up and you may not be able to vote. Let me say this too. We're going to win this thing, and we're going to win this thing going away if one thing happens, and that is the people go and vote. There is no bigger vote. There has never been a bigger vote. Did you hear what I said? There has never been in the history of this state a bigger vote than what we're going to do on October the 7th. I don't care what you say. I don't care what anybody says whatsoever. You see, I don't have a stake in the game. All I'm doing is telling you absolutely the brass tacks facts. West Virginia's got a big hole in the bucket right now. A big hole in the budget bucket. The only money that went into the budget, and you're talking about a guy that knows numbers and knows business. The only money that went into the budget was a projection of what would be the economic gains from the roads. Now, what if this fails? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Somebody tell me, what are we going to do? You know, at the end of the day, the brass tacks facts again are just this. There's nowhere to turn. You have drained rainy day down to the point in time where our bonds are devalued. Can't go any lower. Where's the money going to come from? What are you going to do? That's why I say the single biggest vote in our history. We're the only state in the nation that's losing population. You talk about losing population, you vote this down and see what happens. You have nowhere to turn. You're going to have to go back, cut Medicaid, go back, cut DHHR, the sick and the weak, go back, cut K through 12, close more schools, whether they be elementary or high schools, consolidate more. Then you're going to have to go back, cut our universities. And then you know what's going to happen? More people are going to leave. And when more people leave, the hole's still going to be there. I am telling you, it's the greatest opportunity that we've ever had. There's no tax increase whatsoever that can possibly happen, and I can tell you exactly why. For those of you that have been scared or somebody's come up with this hocus pocus and said your taxes are going to go up if you vote for this, that's malarkey in every way. The real truth is just this. If I were going to sell you a bond, sir, would you buy the bond if you didn't have guaranteed funding? Well, of course you wouldn't. You wouldn't buy it. No way. No way. The funding has got to be in place now, and it already is. So, the net of the whole thing is this. There is no downside from a yes vote. There is none. There's absolute catastrophe from a no vote. First of all, I would say if you're going to vote no, look out your car window and look at your roads. Make a decision of that's what you're going to have, and they're going to even get worse. Look out your car window and think about the next potential school bus that could go off the edge of the pavement, and then we have to deal with that terrific tragedy. You know, the next thing would be just this. Look out your car window and say you're just going to throw away tens of thousands of jobs, and families aren't going to be reunited. You know, a lot of people said, well, are all West Virginians going to get, are West Virginians going to get all these jobs? And I would say to you, I hope with all my soul that every single job is filled with a West Virginian, but they won't be. But tomorrow, it'll get better, and the next day it'll get better, and the next day it'll get better. And you know what will happen? A lot of the very people that had to leave, and I mean, this is so simple. Every last one of you knows somebody that has left West Virginia to go get a better job or to go get a job. So what happens? What happens? Those people want to come home. Their families want them to come home. Well, now we got jobs, and maybe a bunch of them will come home. And they're drug-free, and they're craftsmen, and they're qualified, and they're West Virginians. And so we reunite families. Now look, here's the thing that I got to have from you. Or you've got to make a decision. Last night on one of the TV shows, you know, one of the TVs was interviewing me doing a town hall, and the guy asked me, he said, I've kind of lost my thought. He said, he asked me one question about the fact that if we do this, is there going to be an incredible long-term obligation of our state? And I said, Kenny, if we don't do this, and the roads lay there and they're unrepaired, they're just going to get worse. And they're going to cost more and more and more. Today we can do this with a bond that costs us 3.5% interest. If we don't do this, just the inflation of the roads going worse and worse and worse will cost us 5 or 6%. There's people out there in the neighborhoods that believe that we could just do this, pay as you go. Well, you can't do that either. You'll never get it done. You'll never get anything done. Now, the bottom line of the whole thing is here's where you come into play. You've got to get your in-laws and your outlaws and your cousins and your brothers and your uncles, you've got to get them to vote. We win this thing going away if people vote. Now, you can encourage them how you want them to vote, but you've got to get them to vote. You know, I said this the other day, but I said it in, I watched in Iraq when they voted for the first time forevermore. They went and they put their finger in the little ink thing. There is no vote any bigger than this vote. How could you possibly not want to be proud enough to say, I went and voted? I voted in the most important vote that West Virginia has ever had. Now, you've got to absolutely help here. Kenny Bass asked me this, and I lost it just a second ago, but I got it back. Kenny Bass asked me, he said, Jim, is this a referendum to you? Is it that important to you that we get this done? You know what my answer was? My answer was, yes, it is, Kenny. But it's a referendum to every one of you as well. You can make a decision, really simple, right here. And that is just this. West Virginia has a real chance to be jump-started here. The President of the United States, Donald Trump, whether you like him or you don't like him, is genuinely trying to help West Virginia. He's listening to me all the time. I'm listening to him all the time. It's the most bizarre thing in the world. I've known the Trump family forever. I've got to tell you this story real quick, but probably 4 or 5 years ago, Eric was here, and you would think, well, there's no way. But you know, I love to hunt and fish like crazy, and we had a new litter of bird dog puppies, and I took him over and was showing him those bird dog puppies, and we ended up so far back in the woods you can't imagine, and I blew the tire out on the vehicle that I had. Well, in no time, Eric was underneath my vehicle changing the tire. He's a good kid. He's a good young man. At the time, you know, really and truly, I had communicated several times with Donald, but never met him. Well, I'm going to tell you this. He's bizarre. Now, don't get me wrong. He can get himself way out there on a limb and everything, but he really does want to help. And he will step up and help West Virginia. Now, I'll end by just saying this. I'm all over the state. You know that. I am telling you this. To you, you should know that your local roads that you drive on need real attention, do they not? And quarter H is immensely important, but your local roads need real attention too, don't they? Now, in this bond, in this effort that what we're trying to do, there is tons of money that's going to pour right back to your local roads. That's number one. And number two is, I'll tell you this, and one thing about me is if you come to me tomorrow and I tell you it's a 7, you come back next week, it'll be a 7, as best I can tell you. Now, you may even say this, you may say, well, why then did he switch parties? And because I want to address everything. And I'd say just this. When I ran, first of all, I've been a Republican, I've been a Democrat, I've been a Republican, I've been a Democrat. I would tell anybody that is sitting here, anybody, that if you are a Republican more than you're a West Virginian, you're thinking wrong. If you're a Democrat more than you're a West Virginian, you're thinking wrong. We should all, first and foremost, be West Virginians. That's all there is to it. But here's the brass facts again. I ran as a Democrat never in a billion years. Do you honestly think I'd want to cause such a mess on myself? I ran as a Democrat with every intention to stay as a Democrat and everything else. And I tried as hard as I possibly could in every way, shape, form, or fashion to get a budget through that would have helped all of you in lots of ways. I can't do it like that now. I did everything a human being could do, and I can't run that play again. Now, I'm telling you that I'm not telling you that every answer there is in the world, but I am telling you just again the truth as best I can tell you. Now, I'll end by saying this. I'm all over the state. I've told you about your local roads. I will make one really profound statement here. There is no highway in this state as important as that highway right there. Guarantee it. Now, the Coalfield Expressway has been in the books for 27 years, and the Nitro Bridge and the Wheeling Bridge on I-70, all those are important jobs. But no place is as important as finishing Corridor H. And I promise you this, I promise you, if we first of all, we pass our road bond referendum, we'll hit the ground running like nobody's business. And I will promise you to the Lord above, and that is serious stuff with me, I will promise you with all in me just this, as this being a real possibility of happening. Donald Trump, in his infrastructure program, will give us the money with the bond money that we have to finish this rascal. You mark it down. And it won't be this deal where 27 years from today we're standing out here wondering what we're doing here. How long has this been that we just now are getting this going? Too long. Too blooming long. That's all there is to it. I was in Man, West Virginia about 2 weeks ago, and we finished a stretch between Man and Logan, and it took Route 10 that is, honest to goodness, it is so dangerous, it's unbelievable, but now we've finished a 4-lane highway that's beautiful and safe and everything else. 20 years. 20 years. For crying out loud, I can't live in that world. I just can't do it. That's all there is to it. I'm telling you right now, I want to get something done. And I'm all about getting something done. Now, I love your mountain festival. It's incredible. That's all there is to it. And I have been honored in that beyond belief. But I am telling you this. I didn't run for governor to ride in a parade anywhere. I ran for governor to get something done. Now, I love you, and I mean it. And I am telling you with all in me, we're going to pass this thing, but you have got to make sure that you drag to the poll. If you've got to drag them to the poll, and it doesn't matter how they vote, because I am telling you, the only way we lose this thing is a 10% turnout in the poll. 10%. Think about that. And we're on track. We're on track right now for 10%. Now let me end by saying this. Think about this. What if 70% of the people, what if I ask y'all and 70% of y'all or 99% of y'all said, we're all for this? You know, here's the way you lose. The people that are spewing out the vile and the lies and the bad stuff, they're going to go vote. Now, what if, and let me make it really, really simple, what if 10 people voted and that's all that voted? You know, and it just so happened that 7 out of 10 of those people were people that were really negative. Well, then you lose, no matter if all y'all think it's great. But if 70% of the people think positively about this and you get a significant turnout, you win going away. And if we win going away, this man right here, Tom Smith, is a rock star. He is truly a rock star. And he's going to get a lot of good, and it's going to really happen. We're blessed to have him in every way, shape, form, or fashion. And you watch, this thing is going to absolutely go off like a rocket ship. People are going to come. Tourism's going to explode. Manufacturing is going to come. Rick Perry called me, the Secretary of Energy called me the other morning at 5:30 in the morning and went on and on and on about this natural gas energy manufacturing hub. And you may think you've heard it, and you've heard it and heard it. But these people are for real, and they're on it. They're dead flat on it. There's so many things that are right at our fingertips. I have proposed, the other thing, and I don't mean to go on and on, but you see all these wonderful forests here that are filled with the best hardwoods in the world. Do you know these forests, because I had to get to the bottom of it, our forest in West Virginia, 77 or 78% forested, those wonderful trees clean up an equivalent to 21 coal-fired power plants in this country every year. What they do. What do we get for that? Nothing. 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 You know, I've proposed an environmental subsidy to the Trump people that would say, we have to get something for the contribution of what we're doing. And that something basically transforms back into an offset of wages that maybe you would do here to be a furniture manufacturing hub of the world, a cabinetry manufacturing super hub of the whole world. The only reason that China, Vietnam, and Mexico have all that cheap labor. We got to get something for the value of the trees that they're making to our environment and offset our wages. That's what we got to do. And we could bring home manufacturing jobs, and they could come right here, to the greatest timber in all the land. Now, let me tell you, those ideas are happening. You saw an automotive week that we had this week where jobs are coming. There's goodness. The coal business has bounced back a little bit. And there's a lot of people back to work on the coal side. There's things happening, and they're happening right in front of us. I don't need a pat on the back. Doesn't really matter to me if all the credit goes to somewhere else, because my dad would have said just this. And I'll know that I was responsible for at least some of it, but he would have said, as he gave every gift anonymously, he would have said, Jimmy, that's what he called me all the time. He said, Jimmy, it doesn't matter to me in the world who knows, as long as I know and the good Lord knows. So I would leave, I think that's a great place for me to end. And I mean it when I tell you I love you. We really need to get after this opportunity. And I'll tell you this, God bless all of you. God bless this beautiful kid, a young lady, and her unbelievable voice, and all you great young people as well. Thank you.
Governor Jim Justice. Thank you, Governor. And now for the official photograph, if you'll let us get some pictures with our dignitaries on stage, we'll open up. If you have someone who can take a picture, feel free to get a shovel and be part of the official ceremony today. Thank you for being here, ladies and gentlemen.
Andy, if you could get your coaching guys, we'll stand by for a moment and switch out.
Meal on, is it?
How we doing? Great to see you, sir. We got all kinds of shows today.
Come on.
Say what?
Yes, we're going to get the students next. If you guys will come on up. Come on up.
Ed, how you doing? Good to see you.
All right. Ed, can you and Paul come up? Where's Paul?
Paul.
Switch off again. We've got the students from Elton if you'd like to get a picture.
All right, come on, y'all. Hey, we got these kids next. Okay. All right.
Where's Betty?
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Robbie.
Betty.
Have you grouped together?
Take pictures of the quarter inch board in there. Robbie, your group can be next if you want to. Bring them one around this way. Yeah, one around.
Betty, we're going to get our picture taken with the authorities, so you can just use this and take a picture when I'm in there.
Thank you, guys.
Another change here.
Put your finger on it. Okay.
How you doing? Good to see you.
Okay. Here we go.
Here, Governor.
Here, give it to me.
DOH guys.
Waiting for her.
Come on, guys.
I was here.
Okay.
Anyone else want a picture just with a shovel and the dirt pile? Help yourself if you do.
Come around to the other side.
That's good.
Yeah, come around to the other side of that. Somebody come to that side. Yeah. Or just scoot. Yeah, we can go. There you go.
DOH guys.
Come around, Wall. We need to see you.
All right, there, now I can see
All right,
everybody.
here we go. Double duty. Thank you, guys.
There's several of them there.
Thanks, sir.
Are you one of the Tucker County
Where is
folks?
it?
I know the names, but I don't know. And what was your name? And you're both on the Tucker Commission? Thank you so much.
Your group is it?
When I come out, Patrick Darling.
Yes.
I know. You can't read my scribble, but I can.
You did a good job there. Senator Bobo, smile. You ready?
Bobby, I'll see you later.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate you coming out.
Hey, yeah, get in here. Get in. Girls, you're up here.
Honestly, I care.
Even if I don't hear about it. Don't go here. Somebody go there, somebody else. I got it. There, here, come here. Come around. Hey guys, thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. Bless y'all. Yes,
Oh, thanks. Thanks.